China has once again captured global attention. This time it is with a project of immense scale. The Celestial Network Initiative, or CNI, is its name. It carries a staggering price tag of $500 billion. This is not merely an investment in infrastructure, it is a bold statement of China's ambition for the future. The project aims to weave together a new web of connections across continents. It involves advanced transport, digital links, and smart logistics. The world is watching closely. Many wonder what this colossal undertaking truly signifies for global power and commerce in the 21st century. This project is larger than just roads and railways. It is a vision. The sheer size of the Celestial Network Initiative is difficult to comprehend fully. Imagine a project aiming to redefine how goods, data, and even people move across vast distances. The $500 billion figure is just the starting point for this multifaceted endeavor. It encompasses three core pillars: ultra-high-speed subterranean transport lines, a sovereign global satellite communication system, and a series of AI-managed superports. These components are designed to work in concert. They promise unprecedented efficiency and control for China over critical global flows. This initiative is a clear signal of Beijing's intent to become a central node in the world's future economic and digital architecture. The importance of the CNI extends far beyond its physical presence. It represents a strategic move by China to lessen its reliance on existing global infrastructure. Much of the current infrastructure was shaped by Western powers in a previous era. By building its own, China seeks to establish new norms and standards. It also aims to create new dependencies with Beijing at the hub. This initiative is about more than just economic benefits. It is deeply intertwined with China's long-term geopolitical goals. The CNI is a testament to China's growing technological prowess, and its willingness to invest massively in projects that project its influence worldwide. Understanding the CNI is crucial for grasping the shifting dynamics of our world. It is a project born of a specific vision. China sees itself as a leading power in a new global order. The Celestial Network Initiative is a primary tool to help realize that vision. It is designed to connect nations to China in new and profound ways. This connection will be physical, through transport links. It will also be digital, through communication networks. The ambition is breathtaking. The potential consequences for China and for the rest of the world are equally significant. We are witnessing the laying of foundations for a different kind of globalized world. Megaprojects are not new to human history. Societies have always sought to build big, to overcome challenges, and to leave lasting marks. Think of the Panama Canal. It cut through a continent. It reshaped global shipping routes forever. This project took immense effort and resources. It faced many difficulties before it succeeded. Similarly, the Trans-Siberian Railway stretched across a vast and harsh landscape. It connected disparate parts of a massive empire. These projects were marvels of their time. They changed how people thought about distance and connectivity, demonstrating human ingenuity and resolve. The American Interstate Highway System is another powerful example. Initiated in the mid-20th century, it transformed the United States. It spurred economic growth. It allowed for unprecedented mobility. It even had significant military and strategic implications. The cost was enormous, spread over decades. The impact was profound, knitting the nation together. These projects, like the CNI, were not just about steel and concrete, they were about national vision. They were about projecting power and facilitating progress, as defined by their initiators. They fundamentally altered economic landscapes and social patterns. China itself has a long history of grand undertakings. The Great Wall stands as an ancient testament to this ambition. More recently, the Three Gorges Dam was a project of colossal scale. It aimed to control floods and generate massive amounts of hydroelectric power. These endeavors always involve huge investments. They often involve significant social and environmental considerations. The Celestial Network Initiative follows in this tradition. However, its scope is arguably more global and technologically advanced than many predecessors. It combines physical infrastructure with cutting-edge digital networks on an international scale. So, while the CNI is vast, it stands on the shoulders of giants. Past megaprojects show us that such undertakings can reshape the world. They also come with risks and unintended consequences. The CNI's $500 billion budget places it among the most expensive initiatives ever conceived, but its true measure will be its impact. Will it integrate the world more closely, or will it create new lines of division? History teaches us that such projects are powerful tools. They can forge new paths for development. They can also become arenas for geopolitical competition. This is the context in which we must view China's latest grand plan. The Celestial Network Initiative is not just another large infrastructure project. Its uniqueness lies in its comprehensive and integrated approach. It combines several layers of technology. First, there are the Earth Dragon tunnels. These propose ultra-high-speed subterranean transit systems. They are imagined for moving goods, and perhaps eventually people across continents at incredible speeds. This is a leap beyond current high-speed rail. It aims to make land transport competitive with air freight for certain types of cargo. This component alone is a massive engineering challenge, pushing the boundaries of current capabilities. Second, there is the Starweb. This is envisioned as an independent global satellite network. It would provide internet services, communication links, and precise navigation. Crucially, this network would be under Chinese development and control. This offers an alternative to existing satellite systems like GPS, which is American, or Galileo, which is European. For China, this means data security and autonomy. For other countries, it could mean a new option for connectivity. However, it also raises questions about data governance. The integration of this space-based network with ground infrastructure is a key feature. The third pillar consists of Harmony hubs. These are not just ordinary ports or logistics centers. They are planned as highly automated AI-managed facilities. These hubs would be strategically located. They would integrate seamlessly with the Earth Dragon tunnels and the Starweb. The goal is to achieve unprecedented efficiency in moving goods. Think of smart systems predicting demand, optimizing routes, and minimizing delays. This level of automation and AI integration in logistics on a global scale is a defining characteristic of the CNI. It aims to make supply chains faster, cheaper, and more predictable. What truly sets the CNI apart is the synergy between these three components. It's the combination of ultra-fast land transport, a sovereign digital sky, and intelligent logistical nodes. This creates a closed-loop, highly efficient system that China can largely manage. It is not just about building one piece of infrastructure, it is about creating an entire ecosystem. This ecosystem is designed to serve China's economic and strategic interests first. This integrated vision, blending physical and digital realms so tightly, makes the CNI a project with few direct historical parallels in its holistic scope. It is a 21st century approach to global infrastructure. The United States is watching the Celestial Network Initiative with considerable unease. This concern stems from several interconnected factors. Firstly, there is the sheer economic challenge. The CNI promises to create ultra-efficient trade routes centered around China. American companies might find themselves needing to adapt to or use these China-centric networks. This could shift global economic power. It could also diminish the competitive advantage of existing trade routes and infrastructure that the United States has historically influenced or benefited from. The scale of investment itself signals China's intent to dominate future trade infrastructure. Secondly, technological leadership is a major point of worry. The CNI heavily relies on advanced technologies. These include AI, satellite communications, and next-generation transport. If China successfully implements and leads in these areas through CNI, it could surpass the United States in critical technological domains. For decades, America has been the world's foremost technological power. The CNI represents a direct challenge to this position. The United States is concerned about falling behind in the race for technologies that will define the future economy and also have significant military applications. This is a race Washington does not want to lose. Thirdly, there are significant geopolitical and security implications. An independent China-controlled global communication network, the Starweb, raises alarms. It could be used for intelligence gathering. It could also give China the ability to disrupt or control data flows for other nations using the network. The transport infrastructure, while civilian, could also have dual-use military potential. It could allow for rapid movement of resources or personnel. The United States sees the CNI as a tool for China to expand its global influence. It could draw countries deeper into Beijing's orbit, weakening existing alliances and partnerships. Finally, the CNI challenges the existing global order. This order, largely shaped by the United States and its allies after World War II, is based on certain institutions and norms. China's initiative could create parallel structures. These structures might operate under different rules, potentially undermining established international systems for trade, finance, and data governance. The United States is worried that the CNI is not just about connecting the world. It is about rewiring the world in a way that favors Chinese interests and authoritarian models. This fundamental challenge to the status quo is perhaps the deepest source of American anxiety. The Celestial Network Initiative has the potential to fundamentally alter the landscape of global trade. Imagine, just for a moment, goods moving from Shanghai to Hamburg, not in weeks by sea, but in days, or even hours, through subterranean tunnels. This could drastically reduce shipping times for high-value goods. It could make manufacturing in distant locations even more integrated. The Earth Dragon tunnels promise a revolution in land-based freight. This would directly compete with traditional sea and air freight routes. Companies would need to, really reevaluate their supply chain strategies. The cost savings and speed could be transformative for many industries. The Harmony hubs, those AI-powered ports and logistics centers, would further accelerate these changes. By automating processes and using predictive analytics, these hubs could eliminate many current bottlenecks in global supply chains. This means faster turnaround times for ships and cargo. It also means more reliable delivery schedules. For businesses, this translates to lower inventory costs and greater efficiency. However, countries and companies reliant on older, less efficient ports and logistics systems might find themselves at a significant disadvantage. This could lead to a reshuffling of major trade hubs around the world, favoring those integrated into the CNI. The CNI could also lead to the creation of new economic corridors and zones of development. As new transport and data links connect previously remote areas, these regions could become attractive for investment and industrialization. Countries that align themselves with the CNI and host its infrastructure could see significant economic benefits. This might alter traditional patterns of development, which have often been tied to coastal access or proximity to Western markets. China would likely be at the center of these new economic geographies, further strengthening its influence over participating nations and their economic destinies. However, this shift also brings risks. Increased dependence on a China-centric trade system could make participating countries vulnerable. They might be susceptible to political pressure from Beijing. There are also concerns about debt sustainability for nations taking large loans to build CNI-related infrastructure. While the promise of enhanced trade is alluring, the terms of engagement will be crucial. The CNI could foster greater global interconnectedness, but it could also create a more tiered system, where access to the most efficient trade routes is mediated by alignment with China's interests. This is a complex trade-off for many nations. Beyond the physical movement of goods, the Celestial Network Initiative has a profound digital dimension. The StarWeb component, China's independent global satellite network, is central to this. It aims to provide worldwide internet access, communication services, and precise positioning. This is a direct challenge to existing American and European satellite systems. For China, controlling its own global digital infrastructure means enhanced national security. It means its data flows are not monitored or potentially interfered with by other powers. This digital autonomy is a key strategic objective for Beijing in the 21st century. The implications for global data governance are immense. If many countries, especially in the developing world, come to rely on the StarWeb for their internet and communications, China could gain significant influence over data flows. This, honestly, raises concerns about censorship, surveillance, and the potential for data exploitation. Different countries have different rules about data privacy and security. A China-controlled digital backbone could promote standards that differ significantly from those favored by Western democracies. This could lead to a fracturing of the internet or the creation of digital spheres of influence, each operating under different norms. The integration of the StarWeb with the AI-driven Harmony hubs and the Earth Dragon tunnels is also critical. This digital layer will manage and optimize the entire logistics network. It will collect vast amounts of data on trade flows, inventory levels, and transportation efficiencies. While this data can be used to improve the system, its ownership and control are sensitive issues. China would possess an unparalleled overview of global commerce conducted through its network. This information itself is a valuable strategic asset. It could provide Chinese companies with a competitive edge and give Beijing insights into the economic activities of other nations. Ultimately, the CNI's digital ambitions point towards a future where control over data is as important as control over physical trade routes. The United States and its allies are particularly worried about this aspect. They fear that China will use its technological capabilities to set de facto global standards for digital infrastructure. This could entrench Chinese technology in many parts of the world. It could also make it harder for Western companies to compete. The battle for digital dominance is a key undercurrent of the CNI. It is a struggle that will shape the future of the internet and the global flow of information for decades to come. The Celestial Network Initiative promises to dramatically alter how we think about distance and travel, at least for goods initially. The vision of Earth Dragon tunnels whisking cargo across continents in mere hours is, honestly, revolutionary. While the primary focus is freight, the underlying technology could one day be adapted for passenger travel. Imagine a journey from Beijing to Berlin becoming as quick as a short domestic flight. This would make the world feel much smaller. It could foster closer business ties. It could also lead to new patterns of tourism and cultural exchange, if it ever extends to people. The Starweb satellite network also contributes to a sense of a shrinking world. By potentially offering affordable and widespread internet access, especially in underserved regions, it can connect more people to the global digital conversation. This increased connectivity can empower individuals. It can facilitate education and commerce. It can allow ideas to spread more rapidly across borders. However, the nature of this connection matters. If it comes with censorship or surveillance, it might be a constrained form of global linkage, guided by the provider's own agenda and limitations. Yet the CNI might also create new forms of division. If the world bifurcates into competing infrastructure blocks, one aligned with China and its CNI, another with the United States and existing systems, travel and connectivity could become more complex. Access to the fastest routes or the best digital networks might depend on geopolitical alignments. This could create a multi-tiered world. Some regions might be hyper-connected within one block, but less so with regions in a rival block. This is not necessarily a more open and universally connected world for everyone, but rather a reconfigured one. Furthermore, the immense cost and technological sophistication of the CNI mean that its benefits might not be evenly distributed. Wealthier nations and those strategically important to China might see rapid development of CNI infrastructure. Poorer or less strategically aligned nations might be left out. This could exacerbate existing inequalities in global connectivity, so while CNI aims to shrink distances and connect the world, it could simultaneously redraw the lines of inclusion and exclusion. The result might be a world that is smaller for some, but more fragmented overall, depending on where one stands. The Celestial Network Initiative, despite its grand scale, will ultimately touch the daily lives of ordinary people in both China and the United States, as well as globally. For people in China, the CNI can be a source of national pride and economic opportunity. It signifies their country's technological advancement and growing global stature. The project will create jobs in construction, engineering, and technology. It could also lead to cheaper consumer goods if supply chains become more efficient. An enhanced digital infrastructure could improve internet access and services within China, although likely within existing state controls. For American citizens, the effects might be more mixed and less direct initially. On one hand, more efficient global supply chains, even if China-led, could mean lower prices for some imported goods. American businesses might also find new opportunities if they can leverage parts of the CNI. However, there are also concerns about job displacement. If the CNI shifts manufacturing and logistical power decisively towards China and its partner countries, some American industries and workers could face increased competition. The challenge to United States technological leadership could also impact future job creation in high-tech sectors in America. The CNI's impact on data and digital services will also be felt. People globally might have new choices for internet and communication services through the Starweb. This could be beneficial, especially in areas with poor connectivity. However, it also means their data might be flowing through networks governed by different privacy standards. For Americans accustomed to a certain digital environment, the rise of a parallel, China-centric digital ecosystem could change how they interact online globally. It might influence the apps, platforms, and content available, especially when engaging internationally with CNI-aligned regions. Ultimately, the CNI could reshape the economic prospects and the very nature of global interaction for many. For people in countries that become key nodes in the CNI, there could be new prosperity and development. For those in countries that feel bypassed or challenged by it, there might be a need for significant adaptation. The competition spurred by CNI could drive innovation worldwide, but it could also heighten international tensions. The daily experience of interconnectedness, the cost of goods, and the nature of work could all be subtly or profoundly altered by this massive undertaking originating from China. The Celestial Network Initiative is more than just a colossal infrastructure project. It is a harbinger of a changing global landscape. We are moving into an era where economic power, technological prowess, and geopolitical influence are increasingly intertwined. China's $500 billion gamble is a clear indication of its ambition to be a leading architect of this new era. The CNI aims to build the arteries and nerves of a future global economy, with Beijing hoping to be its heart. This will inevitably lead to a period of adjustment and competition as other nations respond to this shift. For the United States and its allies, the CNI presents both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is to maintain competitiveness and influence in a world where China is setting new terms for connectivity and trade. This will require significant investment in domestic infrastructure and innovation. It will also necessitate a coherent strategy to engage with a more assertive China. The opportunity lies in pushing for a global system that remains open, fair, and based on widely accepted rules, even as new players like the CNI emerge. This means finding areas for cooperation while also standing firm on core principles. The success or failure of the CNI and its ultimate impact will depend on many factors. These include China's ability to manage such a complex undertaking, the willingness of other countries to participate, and the response of established powers. There will be technological hurdles, financial risks, and geopolitical tensions along the way. The world will need to navigate these carefully. Dialogue and diplomacy will be crucial to ensure that this new infrastructure fosters shared prosperity rather than deepening divisions. The governance of these new networks, both physical and digital, will be a key area of international discussion. As we stand in 2025, the CNI is a powerful symbol of the dynamism and ambition reshaping our world. It forces us to think about the future of globalization, the nature of power, and the kind of interconnected world we want to build. The project underscores that the post-Cold War order is evolving rapidly. The choices made today by China, by the United States, and by nations across the globe will determine whether this dawning era is one of greater cooperation and progress, or one of intensified rivalry and fragmentation. The Celestial Network Initiative has laid down a marker. The world must now decide how to respond to its far-reaching implications.